What's up? I'm Dre Hill, artist, storyteller, writer, author of your favorite poetry collection that you haven't read yet, including, but not limited to, my full-length collection, Crossroads, my first chapbook, I Love You Means Nothing, and my most recently released chapbook, No, I Am Not Okay. The links to which, and my remaining books, can be found in the video description. I haven't seen too much of this on YouTube and or social media. That's not to say that it's not out there, that authors are not doing this. I just haven't seen it personally. But I got an email from one of my publishers today with a royalties report for this quarter, or this most recent quarter, and it inspired me to talk a little bit about my experience as an independent author and talk about the experience that most independent or self-published authors face and maybe can relate to when it comes to royalties, because for most of us this is not a full-time job. We're not making that level of money. Our books are not generating that level of income yet. So this is just me kind of pulling back the layers a little bit, sharing with you all how much I've made so far this year from my, we're going to keep it simple, it'll be from my 4 books to date. And so I'm going to tell you what I've made because I'm going to be looking at my laptop, but I'll probably also post a couple of screenshots as well, just so you can kind of get an understanding of why for a lot of independent authors the money is great, but we don't make enough to really recoup the money that we're spending at an expedient rate. So for us, a lot of it is about the passion of the project and the passion of writing and producing the books versus the potential of profit, because a lot of us are just barely clearing the red and or are still in the red with a lot of our projects. Alright, I have my laptop here. I'm looking at my spreadsheet. Me personally, I use this spreadsheet to track all of my things. It makes it easy, it keeps me organized, and it's great for tax season. Do what works for you. But I use my spreadsheet to track royalties, any engagements or events that I get hired for, my expenses, and keeping track of how many books I sell, just to know. So for starters, we'll look at how many books I have sold this year, the number of which is 146. That is split between my 4 different books, the poetry book specifically. I'm not counting or factoring in the prompt book, and that is split between books that are sold online and books that are sold in person at events, or maybe that I sell at a vendor fair or something like that. Alright, now when looking at my royalties for the year, I am not going to factor in the royalties from Crossroads that I'm supposed to be receiving until I get paid. So far for this year, not factoring in the royalties that are outstanding, I have received $462.51. And you might be thinking, that seems like a decent amount of money. And I mean, it is to some respect, but when you factor in most of these books are at least $10+ a book, and we've sold almost 150, you would think that maybe I would have made a little bit more than that. And the reality is I would and should if those books were being bought directly from me. And so that's a little bit of transparency about just what I'm making. And the reality is $462 and change, that's not bad if I'm clearing that in a month. This was over the totality of the, we're in July now, is that 7 months, that have currently elapsed in the year. So it's not like I'm clearing that every month or even every 2 months. That's ebbs and flows over periods of months. So you could see how that would be problematic if I'm trying to rely on that for income when a fraction of that is not going to pay maybe a bill. It maybe pays a bill for me, right? And I am young, I have less responsibility than, say, somebody who is married, has children, or grandchildren, or whatever the case is. They have a home, a mortgage, rent, whatever the case is. You could see how this would be pressure financially if they were trying to live off of their royalties, and they're maybe clearing $400 every couple of months. And here's the thing, right? When it comes to independent and or self-published books are often priced competitively. It also might depend on how big the book is and how much paper it's going to require, and like printing costs to offset some of that stuff. And then when you are independent or self-published, whoever you're distributing through, they're taking a cut. If you're with a small publisher, any publisher really, 9 times out of 10, they're taking a cut from your royalties to pay themselves back for the work that they did with putting your book together. If you are putting the book out yourself, unless you are literally doing everything yourself, which I mean some people can do, most cannot and or choose not to, you're spending money on the development process because you're paying for an editor or a cover designer or a voiceover artist for the audiobook or something. There's money going out for something before the thing is even out, and you have the chance to earn money back. This, of course, not even factoring in pay schedules for your royalties, because, for example, with this book and the publisher I went through with this, I might get paid every month if I meet the royalty quota. However, with this book, they pay me quarterly, but I still have to meet the royalty quota. So if I'm not clearing X number of dollars in this quarter, I'm not getting paid for that. That money is sitting in escrow waiting to accrue over X number of dollars for me to get paid. If I make X number of dollars in this month, cool, I'm gonna get that money. And this is just an example. I'm not specifically giving you what my schedule looks like, but that might be how it is for some authors. Or let's say this is self-published, that money might be on a 90-day back order. So this might have came out in February. I might not see the first round of royalties for this until June, July. And that's several months of that book hopefully being out, hopefully selling well, and me not seeing it. I can see it in my portal, maybe in my bar. I can see the money going up, but I'm not touching it for months. So this might be why you see authors selling books off their websites, or why they're at vendor fairs, or even, for example, me, I'm on the TikTok shop and I'm selling copies of my book that way, because one, that money is immediate. Two, with the exception of like TikTok shop, I'm getting the full value of the book. Like the credit card processor or whoever might take a cut, and then obviously I'm spending a little bit of money to ship it to you, give or take, depending on the method. But outside of that, the full value of the book is what I get. If I'm charging you $15, take the credit card processing, take maybe $3 in shipping, the rest of that is the full value from that $15 that is coming to me, and is coming to me immediately or almost immediately. I'm not waiting a month, I'm not waiting 2 months, 3 months. 5 to 10 days, give or take, I have that money and I can transfer it to my account. So if you know an independent author or a self-published author, hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into why sometimes there's such a delay, why sometimes projects take so long to come out, why sometimes you don't hear from them for a while, because sometimes they have to take care of life and responsibility before they get the chance to really indulge in their creative ability. I mean, the creative stuff costs money too, and if no one's footing the bill, chances are that author is. On top of that though, I think hopefully this helps kind of shed light on why, if an author is selling books from their website or from their TikTok shop, like I do that, why there's a heavy push for that, because that money comes to us almost immediately, and there are so many fewer hands in the pot trying to take what's coming to us. So sometimes you have authors who exclusively sell on their websites, and that might be a hassle, but they're making the most benefit, like financially, they're reaping the most reward from that. I can't fault them for that. And if you're watching this video and hearing what I'm saying, and you're like, dang, what can I do to help independent authors more? How can I best support them? There are authors that I can think of that are in my bookshelf that I want to see them blow up. I want to see them succeed. What can I do? It's simple. Whatever you can to support them. Whether that's posting about them on social media, reviewing their books, whether that's online or in person, telling people about it, having book clubs with their books, buying their books, requesting their books at the library, and inviting them to come speak at an organization, school, function, wherever. Like, if you can book an author to come in, why not? People get that like in-person experience, but also that author hopefully has books to sell. They can sell in person in that moment. If they have signings, show up, buy books, bring friends, take pictures, tag the author. You know what I'm saying? Like, any way that you can think of to support is more than enough. Send us DMs, send us emails, let us know how you enjoyed the work and how it changed your life or how you loved it or this, that, and the third. Like, we appreciate all of that. Like, of course the financial support would be great because that's going to be what helps us continue, and that's going to be what puts us in the position to make it a career for those of us who want that opportunity. But all the other stuff is just as important too, because we want to know that you received our work and you loved it and you enjoyed it and it meant something to you. But anyways, that was all that I had for this video. I just wanted to be a little honest, be a little transparent, share a little bit about my experience, and I'm sure what many other authors can relate to. My numbers for the year might be high for some people. Like, they may not have even 100 books that they've sold for the year. And in contrast, my numbers might also be low because they might have sold twice that, 3 times that. But the point that I wanted to share was just illustrate how a lot of us are in this experience together, and some of us are struggling. Some of us may not be, but we're all in a position where those of you who are readers and lovers of literature can help us and elevate us and put us in positions where the next book maybe is signed to a contract if that's what we want. Or the next book doesn't take us 10 years to write because y'all suddenly blew us up on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Now we're doing interviews. Now we're selling out Amazon or local bookstores or Barnes & Noble or whatever. And now, buku money. So I can quit my job and go write full time. And that project that was going to take me 3 years, maybe it takes me 1.5 instead. But again, that's all that I had. I hope that this video was helpful or insightful or even educational, whether you are an author or an aspiring author or just a reader and fan wanting to learn a little bit more. That's all I've got. Next video will probably be another poem reading video. We'll see. Comment below if you have other ideas though. Want to hear something else. But that's all I've got, as I've said for like the 10th time now. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss a future video. I'm Dre Hill. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.